Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com for life coaching and mentoring. It's Sunday, it's bright and early. Daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. I'm going to do a little Sunday study group for warriors. I do this every Sunday. I got a couple new subscribers. This is how we get down every single Sunday. What I do is I like to take about 6 or 8, depending how much time we have, how fast I go, quotes or ideas, thoughts from my morning studies, and we just kind of go over them together briefly. I'm just going to give you guys a little extra something to think about for the day. Let's just get into it. The first one is, I just thought it was an interesting statement. I could make a whole video on this. Someone could write a book on this topic. How to Get Old would be the title. You could make a instruction guide for people to how to get old. You could teach a class in this. This should be a class at college to teach 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds how to get old, how to age through different parts of their life. You know, you go through a transformation every 5 or 7 years, a mental shift, a maturity shift. You level up, at least you should be. You change, all of your cells die and regenerate in that time. So 7 years from now, 5 years from now, you'll literally be a different person. But we don't really think about how to get old. It just happens. And then old people laugh at you when you get there. When I turn 50, I get guys who are 60, 65 being like, yeah. In the same way that we kind of laugh at a kid who learns a lesson that we've all learned before. And some learning has to be that way, but it doesn't always have to be that way. I think that it would be interesting to have a step-by-step guide of how to get old properly. You know, I talk with this 83-year-old bodybuilder at the gym. This guy is fucking jacked. He's tall, 6'4", in great shape, perfect posture, big broad shoulders. The guy looks young, his face is fucking less wrinkles on it than mine. He's always smiling. The guy's had an amazing life, a hard life. I didn't believe him that he was 83. The guy looks 63. And I asked him, what's the secret, you know? And he said, it's all about lifestyle management. He says, I've been lucky enough to be able to live a good life. And he said that he'd never been on drugs. He has never been an alcoholic. He's always eaten healthy. He's always exercised. Say his prayers, go to bed early, that kind of thing. He got on a good lifestyle management from the military, and it's been that way ever since, and this is what's kept him in phenomenal physical and mental shape at 83. Let's go on to the next one. This is going to cut some of you. Stop crying about what's over. You got to stop crying about the past. You got to literally just stop talking about it. Stop engaging in that energy. We become dependent upon the past. It's almost like a demon that takes us over. You want to rebuke the spirit of dependence. You want to cast them out. This shit will torture you for the rest of your life if you don't get on it now. Let's go to the next one. You ever think about protests? You know, you see protests on TV. I don't go to protests. Maybe some of you out there do. I don't do it. I don't really believe in protests. My mom took me to protests when I was a little boy. She was a hippie, radical hippie. And she would take me to anti-war protests, Vietnam War protests. Back in those days, early 70s, nuclear power was just becoming kind of a big thing, and she took me to anti-nuclear protests. They had that 3 Mile Island accident. We went to the protests against 3 Mile Island. And I lived in D.C. for quite a while in my high school years, so I've seen protest after protest. You see them all the time. I'm not sure, historically or factually, statistically, I'm not sure if there's ever been a successful protest, ever. Meaning that I don't know if legislation has ever been passed because of those people out there marching around and stomping around. I don't know if that has ever changed anything. In fact, what I see on the faces of these protesters is just narcissistic rage, like little babies who don't get what they want. Let's move to the next one. I could stay on that one for an hour and a half. I had somebody this week troll me on my videos and post a bunch of satanic comments for some reason. I'm not sure why. So let's counteract it with this. You know that battle that you feel like that you fight every goddamn day? You wake up, you got the same fucking demons looking at you, you got the same fucking hill that you gotta climb like Sisyphus. You gotta push this fucking rock up the hill every goddamn day. And every day, you maybe end that day feeling like a failure, with that rock just tumbling back down. You know, everybody's fighting this battle to different degrees, of course, but everybody's fighting a battle. And you know, there was that line in that old rap song from the early 80s from Grandmaster Flash, "Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge. I'm just trying not to lose my head," right? Something like that. This battle that you fight, you have to release it. That doesn't mean you stop fighting it. What you do is you release your command. You've been playing general in a battle that you should be soldier in. You need to step down and to realize that the battle isn't yours. This battle belongs to God. Some of you get it, some of you don't. Let's move on to the next one. If you love me for who I am, you can have what I got. I tell a chick that. The one that, you know, a woman that I love. If I'm in love with you and if you're down for me, if we have that loyalty bond, that loyalty oath, everything I got you is yours. I willingly give you everything. But I'm no sucker. I don't tolerate gold diggers. Don't take my kindness for weakness. If you want me, you have to be in it for the right reasons, or I'll squash you like an ant and be gone. And I won't even think twice about you. But if you have that loyalty, if you're ready for a real guy, a real deal motherfucker, you have everything I have. I willingly give you it all. You won the fucking lottery. Some guys get it, and some motherfuckers don't. This is not just some kind of personal shit I'm trying to tell some specific individual. This is an aspect of masculinity and of manhood. And that's why I say some of you get it and some of you don't, because the ones who don't get it are still little boys in their minds. Don't wait till you get to the promised land to be grateful. Some of you motherfuckers are waiting to be thankful, waiting to be grateful until you get there. I'll be grateful when I get there, and so then I'm going to be a nasty, mean son of a bitch. You ain't getting there then. You have to learn how to be grateful without before you can be grateful with. No one's going to bless you with shit until you can start thanking for what you have. If all you have is one shoe and a half a glass of dirty water, that's all you have. You better be thankful for that if you want anything more. Acceptance sets you free. When you want to start your journey on the path of personal development, on the path of personal growth, of getting from point A to point B, of moving forward in life, of realizing your greatness, you start with acceptance. That's the chain that you cut in order to start that journey. To let that dog run, you got to cut the chain off the dog first. That chain allows you to accept who you are, accept the world as it is. Acceptance is the start of your journey. You want to know where to start with any of this? I want to get to be a position of power, of strength. Start with acceptance. If you look into what that means, really ponder that, you'll find yourself going down a road of forgiveness. You forgive yourself, you'll forgive others. And then, only then will you be ready to move forward. Until then, you'll stay stuck. This one's a tough one. I think it's a tough one for most people. Embrace the fact that people don't like you. Stay and fight. See, a lot of motherfuckers realize that, oh, well, I'm not liked, I'll just go. It takes true confidence. A true warrior can stay and fight even when he knows that he's not liked. Because he doesn't need your validation. He doesn't need your likes. He doesn't need you. All he needs is righteousness. I found this one to be a good one. There's progress in moral order. So, physical order is where we begin with moral order. Clean your room, like Jordan Peterson says. I keep my place real tidy. How your environment is a reflection of your mind. When you create more order in your life, you're able to start making progress. That order is how you create progress. That's the footings that you will grab a hold of as you're climbing this slippery slope of life. You have to have a moral order. Be grounded firmly in your sense of morality and virtue. Don't let anybody shake you from that. People who have a moral order are successful people. Here's the last one. I have a few more, about 5 more, but I don't think I have time to go through it. We'll see what happens. The self is the element that remains in traction across transformation. We're like the phoenix, where we go through a process of birth and death and then rebirth. And we do this many times in our lives. I have died many times, but I've also been born. After each death comes a rebirth. That's how it works. From those ashes, we arise wiser, stronger than the last version of ourselves. We're never able to go back to that old self. However, if you look at the selves as hills and our personal deaths, our lowest points where we're torn apart as valleys, you can see across those hills to the different beacons that you have left. The elements that stay similar within you throughout each one of these lives that we live. We live many lives within our lifetime. That's who you really are. It's all food for thought. Have a good Sunday.